Hey everyone, this is Ben from MotoCampNerd.com, and you're listening to the Finding Camp podcast. More than ever, people are getting on a motorcycle and going camping. On this show, we talk about all things motorcycles, camping, and moto travel. So let's get into it. So how did we get here? How did I get to be the owner of MotoCamp Nerd and making a podcast? Well, in the beginning, I was not a part of like a two-wheeled family. No motorcycles or anything like that. And I didn't really start riding until my early 20s. So to get to that point, normally, normal kid riding bikes, did some, like street BMX stuff and mountain biking. And then when I was going to school full time and working full time, it just kind of piddled away. But I got my 2-year degree in electrical engineering, and then because I just wanted to get in and out of school as fast as possible because of that mindset, I didn't want to not have money. I wanted to get a job to make money, to buy stuff, to get out there, to do stuff. Kind of what I was taught. And met my friend at my first job in the field, and he had a CB 750 that he wanted to turn into a cafe racer. It was pretty much stock, and we just wanted to make it, he wanted to make it more of a cafe racer. This is around 2012, and this is when the cafe racer scene was picking up, and the vintage bike scene was really starting to grow. And me having a history of working on my own cars and being able to do this, and him not so much, we worked together and we built his bike into a cafe racer. Well, of course, doing that, makes me want to ride even more. And during this time also, when I was 18, I had melanoma. And then during this time, right before we started building his bike, my grandfather had passed away from cancer. He wasn't young. He was 72, but I mean, in today's, standards, that could be considered fairly young compared to what you could live to. And seeing as it was cancer, it felt like he had a few more years left if he didn't have cancer, and it would have been a longer lifespan. So feeling like seeing that, I guess, in firsthand, somebody's life ending short, and having that feeling of not wanting to miss out or not having those, the regrets on your deathbed kind of moment. So between that, I decided to pursue my motorcycle endorsement and take the safety class like I was supposed to. I did all that. And of course, riding bikes and cars and knowing how everything works, it was fluid. It wasn't like I had any problems learning how to ride. Any normal learning curve, I guess you should say. Well, our first real motorcycle camping trip came the following year in 2013, where we had planned a trip to the Appalachian Mountains, the Blue Ridge, and all that. And this is coming from central North Carolina, so it's about a 2.5-hour ride west just to get to the first section. And we're planning on going up to Maggie Valley and staying at the Wheels Through Time Museum. This is before Dale, who ran the museum, before he had his TV show. And so my friend reached out to him and asked him if we could stay there, camp out, and it wasn't a big deal. We had to stay on the back of the property next to the creek, and it was really cool because we showed up right before closing and, set up our camp, and the next morning got up and went through the museum. They were very gracious, and it was one of the lifetime experience, I guess I should say. And that trip going up the mountains to Maggie Valley is probably the one that sticks out in my head the most. And that feeling of it was in piss poor rain, and I was wearing jeans and cloth gloves. And so, it was a weird experience because I didn't know where I was at. I was following along with, the guy who was leading the group, and um, that sense of adventure and excitement and all those emotions that, if you've done it before, you've felt all these emotions and the first time, and you know what it feels like, and you just want to do it more. And that was a feeling of, I want to do this more. I want to get out and explore and see more than just the four walls of my house and work. And so the job I was at currently was, I was traveling a lot for work, so I wasn't home much. So I was missing home life. I was missing riding. And didn't get to do much. So I found a job that would keep me home more. But when you work in manufacturing, and that's what I was in maintenance manufacturing, or I should say that, manufacturing maintenance, there's supply and demand. And when demand is high, well, you've got to work a lot. And anybody who's worked in manufacturing knows this kind of concept where sometimes overtime is mandatory. And I got to a point where we were working 12-hour days, 7 days a week, that lasted about 7-9 months straight, nonstop. And it's after about 6 days of, well, I'd say the first 4 days of working 12-hour shifts, you start kind of feeling the drain. And then I am commuting an hour back and forth to work at the same time. So 14-hour plus day. And then I literally go home, go to sleep, wake up, eat, shower, go to work, come back, do it all again. And about day 7 to 9, you pretty much just are on autopilot at that point. And me being big into safety, being in manufacturing, it was just one of those, it was bad all the way around. It was not safe working that much. But, they didn't care. They had a product to push out, so we had to be there. And the only time we could get off is if we took the vacation time. We were not allowed to take a weekend off. So that was another a life lesson that I kind of got embedded into my brain and my thought process, that definitely the money isn't worth it. That money doesn't buy happiness, because I was working a lot of overtime, and we had, I wouldn't say a ton of money, but I had a good amount of money, and, paying bills and being able to buy like a motorcycle and this, but I couldn't really enjoy it. And I made the decision that we needed to do something different, and it needed to be a lifestyle change, so that way we as in me and my wife Mary, could actually, go out and travel and ride and just see and do as much as possible, and not wait until we were retired to do this. And so I changed jobs. I found a job that was closer to home. And, now I work, 5-10 minutes from the house, and took a little bit of a pay cut, but, because of the overtime amount, so I'm not having to work so much overtime, which was really nice. And the plan in taking that job was actually to be able to exit the job within so many years, so that way I could pursue a job or, an entrepreneurial job, career, whatever I'd made for myself, and creating that lifestyle change now, so that way I could still make money while being able to do what I want. Having no business education or business degree or anything, it's all self-taught and just learning as much as I can and absorbing it like a sponge. So got the new job. This is in 2019. And originally started to try to do like a videography business, and that didn't really pan out. 2019 into 2020, and the whole, that type of service industry just wasn't, for somebody new getting into it, it was really difficult with the limited time I had during the day between working a full-time job and being able to do that. So I had to bail on that idea. But then kind of during this time, we're talking about how to build a motorcycle camping tent, or a motorcycle friendly tent. and what it would look like. And we started looking into manufacturing costs and what it's going to take. And me working in manufacturing, I kind of understand all the concepts that go into developing a product and all the quality that needs to be done behind the scenes. And I realized we really didn't have the capital to be able to afford that either. And so, but we didn't have enough to maybe start buying some stuff to resell, which came up with the idea of a online store that we could, sell camping gear that we thought was fit for motorcycle camping. And even years ago when I first started motorcycle camping, I'm like, why isn't there a store out there for this? Because it would be really easy to go to one place to buy what I needed because I knew it was in one spot. And I did hours and hours of research online through all the brands and all the different types of materials and products, and figuring out what was small or better than this and that. And so that's what we did. We created a store with quality products that I knew would be durable and withstand camping off the motorcycle for all types of motorcycle camping. I haven't got into adventure riding really until 2022. September is when I got my BMW. I had sold the Bonneville, and before that I just rode street pretty much all the time. I did have a dirt bike at one point that just kind of like piddle around on the yard, and did maybe like one or two gravel roads here and there, but nothing serious. And then, now we're trying to get more into that. And so the camping side of, building this business, Mary has a lot of retail experience. I've had retail experience. We know what good customer service should look like. And we wanted to build not just a store that had good gear, but a store that would build a community around motorcycle camping, because me and Mary both are big into the outdoors and recreating responsibly and teaching others about that and making it a point so that way newcomers into the sport can come in and learn as much as possible and make sure we're leaving these areas better than we found them, so that way we still have the areas to go into the backcountry to go camping. And with that, we've worked with the BDR and giving them money every year, so that way it's a benefit to help them grow and do more for the community, to create more routes and to work with landowners and land management, and to make sure we have these areas accessible. And also they have a really good education program as far as riding right and watching for wildlife, and they're on the same page we are with that, as far as making sure everybody's getting out and recreating responsibly. So, and then also with the business is trying to make sure, again, we're trying to make a lifestyle for ourselves. So we're building a business, but we also want to support the community, and that does include working with a lot of ambassadors. Dork on the Road and As the Magpie Flies are probably our two biggest ambassadors from day one. They were, when we started the business, those were the first two we worked with. And I believe they're awesome people to begin with. Ben and Amanda both are just wonderful people, and they're here to make sure everybody learns as much as they can and to help grow the sport and to grow the industry. And they're really good-hearted people, and that's why we work so well together. And we're on the same page. Like when we talk to them about different products and stuff, it's really nice being on the same exact page and understanding that everybody's needs are different, and they understand that. So, they try to represent the products that we give to them to try and to talk about in a way that everybody understands. Like, and this works for me in this situation, but not for everybody else. And a part of growing the business too is hiring other people in the motorcycle community. They've wrote blogs for us for the website, but also on the, more recently, the marketing side of things, finding people who are in the industry to help us with our marketing efforts to grow the business. And I'm really excited that we were able to find people who can do that. And same thing for, we start working on more graphics and designs and stuff, finding people in the community that we can hire. So that way, when people buy products, we're pushing the money back out into the community for all these different content creators in different professions. And it's where we want to go with the business and how we want to do it. And eventually we'll get to a point where we're able to have people running the store and going to rallies for us, or we're going to rallies for them, and we're out testing products and meeting people. And again, it's building that lifestyle. And, we don't need millions of dollars for, to live, like I said, whenever I was working and working a lot of overtime, I realized the materialistic goods that we don't need. And we've been slowly, since that point, we've actually been downsizing a lot and slowly purging our house. And have talked about, traveling full time, maybe in a camper, or, just even on the bike doing short tours, or you're just going a cross country tour. I don't know. We're up in the air right now. We're not going to think about it too much because we're focusing on the business and growing it, and we'll see how it goes. So this is where we are. This is how we got here, and this is where we're going. And so I appreciated all of our customers and all the community who supported us. I'm glad there's a lot of people who've rallied behind us and supported our idea. I was really worried that we wouldn't be able to sell enough product for me to be able to take a paycheck from the business. I don't right now. I still work my full-time job at this moment in this recording. And hopefully by spring of 2024, I'll be able to transition full-time into the Moto Camera store, being able to take a paycheck for that. Because right now, me and Mary are working for free, and all the money we're making from the business just goes back into the business to grow it. So I'm hoping we're on a good path to grow the store in a way that I can do that and transition to that next year. And again, part of that worry was we're so niched down. It's not like we're doing overlanding and camping. It's motorcycle camping specifically. And it's because it's what I'm passionate about, We've done car camping. We had a little 16-foot toy hauler. We've done that. We've done truck camping. We've done all the different types of camping. And so the one I'm more passionate about than anything is motorcycle camping. And I guess if we open it up to more like car camping for out as well, we may have grown faster. But I have to say the community that we have and the customer base that we have now has been absolutely fantastic, because I told Mary before I'd never wanted to work retail again. And here we are having our own retail store, and I've never had a customer yell at me, scream at me, cuss me out, or anything. I have more people, scoff at our prices, and I can't do anything about that. That's just the price of the goods that we sell. It is what it is. I am a firm believer in you kind of get what you pay for to an extent with some of these goods, and a lot of the products we have are high quality products. But most of the customers that we've had are extremely supportive. I've never had a customer sit there and yell at me or cuss me out like I have in other retail jobs in the past. Everybody's been extremely understanding and supportive, and we're just trying to deliver the best customer service we possibly can to the community, because it's not just about the products. It's about the whole experience of learning motorcycle camping and connecting with others, and taking care of the land that we have to use to go camping, and making sure everybody can enjoy it. So I appreciate you all for listening to this and tuning in and watching our YouTube videos that I haven't really made any this year or last year, just because we've been so busy with the business. I literally don't have any time. And so I figure I'd take some time to be able to record these when I have a moment to just sit down, take a break, and do a very raw, unscripted podcast, and to get the information out that I want, and that way you all can kind of see where we're coming from. So I guess we're just going to end that there. I appreciate everybody for listening. Thank you all for the support, and go find your cam.